I remember when I rode with Roy. And I hated them uppity women. Thank you very much for this very prestigious award at this time in my life. And very happy to receive it and everything. And there's so many people that I want to thank, and there's so many people out there that I know. I have people come up to me and say, "Hi Bob, don't you remember me? Don't you remember me?" And I said, "God, I'm 76 years old, I can't remember you." And we're in the dark and everything, I can hardly see the guy. I remember a lot of people here tonight though, and particularly I remember Eddie, way back in the 50s when he played. When I played a few jobs, he was there for a few concerts. So I remember him. And I remember Brent, of course, and a few other people. I met them along the way. And I want to thank the Hall of Fame people for putting me in the Hall of Fame and everything, and everybody that's worked so hard to do it. And I also want to thank all the people who came down to this fair tonight to see me inducted. There are some people from the Ottawa Valley here. I couldn't leave my brother out of this. My brother is a guitar player, banjo player, multi-instruments, and has an Irish country band that he's been at it now for 40 years in the Ottawa Valley, playing with his band, the Valley Rovers. He's down there on the floor waving his hand. And also my wife's cousin, my late wife's cousin, Nita Harcourt, came all the way down to surprise me from Ottawa. Glad of that too. And what can I say? Back in 1947, my dad approached me when we moved from Lunenburg to Ottawa, and he said, "I want you to meet a friend of mine down at the Ottawa Coliseum who was appearing that night." So we went down, and he went in the back, and he said, "I want to see Hank Snow out here right now." And the guy said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I want to see Hank Snow from Brooklyn." He said, "No." The guy said, "You got the wrong guy. This is Hank Snow from Nashville." He said, "You go in and tell Clarence Eugene Snow I want to see him out here." Of course, my dad's name was Clarence Edward Fralic. And another chap they hung around with was Clarence Atwood Dexter in Brooklyn. And of course, when they were put out of their houses by their mothers and that to get jobs, they ended up going to my Aunt Libby's, and she put them up in, Elizabeth Fralic put them up in Brooklyn. So that's where I met him, and I was quite shocked when he came out. I said, "Dad, I want to be a country singer someday." This little guy came out in a rhinestone suit. He was all about there on there. And he said, he called my dad Felix. He always called him Felix. He said, "Oh, how are you doing there, Felix? Old buddy?" He said, "Well, what's going on?" He said, "Well, my son wants to become a country music star." Is that so? What's his name? Robert. Robert, I hate that name. I wish everybody would just call me Bob. Anyways, he said, "Well, you want to be a country music star, you got to put your mind to it, play the guitar, and look the people over out there, and really please the audience, because that's going to be your livelihood." I said, "Well, thank you very much, Mr. Snow," and that was it. And that's how I met Hank Snow. And soon after that, my dad bought me a guitar, a Stella guitar, and we decided we formed a little country band, my brother and my late sister and I, and out in City View, just outside Ottawa. So we formed this little band up, and I remember my brother played drums then. He had an old milk tin, powdered milk tin, with a little piece of dog chain on it, and a little cover over it, and that was our drums. And my dad had bought me a Stella guitar, I think 1945 or 46 vintage, and he said, we had to eat a lot of bologna sandwiches for this. To tell you the truth, I enjoyed the bologna sandwiches. The silver with the black diamond strings, I didn't enjoy that too much. But I went through that way of life in the Ottawa Valley. Then I went on to join the Navy, of course, in 1956, and fly in airplanes and work on airplanes and stuff. And had a pretty good career, 33 years. And of course, one of the planes I flew in as a crewman was the last Dakota out of Shearwater. And of course, as we all know, the Dakota was flown by Sergeant Gene Autry, over the Himalayas in the Second World War. So what I did, I wrote a letter down to the museum down in Los Angeles, and that's how I got to meet Gene Autry. He sent me a lovely picture and everything, and his wife started writing me these little letters, and they started with the Christmas card bits. And I said I wanted a little bit more, to learn a little bit more, so I got to meet Max Gordon, who was Gene's PR manager. And of course, at the same time as I met them, Monty Hale was going to help build a museum with Gene, so he built the museum, and my wife and I got to know those, and all of a sudden the Christmas cards and Easter cards, everything started flowing, the letters came down, and Jackie Autry said she was so proud of me up there singing Gene songs up in the Maritimes. And of course those two gentlemen have passed on now, but their wives still send me messages and letters and things like that. And oh, thank you very much. Bless you. Yeah. Fresh water.
No rust. No rust. No
rust. Oh, that's much better. Much better.
I could tell.
That's much better. And of course, like I still correspond with Monty Hale's wife, Joanne Hale, and Jackie Autry, and Maxine Hansen is Mrs. Autry's personal secretary. And the last letter I got from her there about a month or so ago, she said, "Send more pictures." So I'll be sending down some pictures. So some of you may be lucky you'll be in the pictures when I send them down to Los Angeles. Not much to say really. There's so many things I want to say, so many different places I've been, bands I play with, and people I play with. And of course, as we spoke there tonight, people have passed on. A lot of people that I work with over the years, Doug Bell and the Gold Strikers, Charlie Hipson and the Country Stylers, Jerry Cole and the Roadmasters. Jerry was a good friend of mine in the Navy, and we did a lot of playing around in the Navy and playing music and stuff. And the Bonaventure Drifters, and of course the Country Playboys, the Clark Four, the Four Sounds. The Clark Four was Harry Clark's band. I don't know if you ever remember Harry Clark. Kay Weir was my guitar player for 40-some years, passed away. And Hank Hilchey, Vic Mullen, of course. We were considered to be in Vic Mullen's stable at that time. We were doing 9 Mile River years ago, Laddie's Brook, Westville, Stewiacke, Shubenacadie. That was our big road trip. I can remember that trip well because Hank Hilchey's bass fiddle was right up against me in the car all the way on the trip. There was no room for the bass. There was a lot of good adventures, and as I say, a lot of those people are gone today. And I'd like to just take the last minute out to thank everybody that came, all my families out there right now, all the kids and all my good friends from Bluegrass and country and everything. And I'd like to dedicate my trophy tonight in memory of my late wife and my sister, Patsy, who was quite a singer in her day and died of multiple sclerosis. And sad to say that when my wife passed away with cancer, I probably in the same state as my friend down here. I developed a problem on the left-hand side. I thought I had a stroke, and it turned out to be Parkinson's, but I still managed to get along and play a little bit of music. So thank you very kindly, everybody, and God bless.